Good morning and good afternoon to those online, everyone here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And I want to welcome back our outstanding musician of today, Emily. Today we are hearing Badè, Unafraid, being unafraid through songs. So before actual singing, we will sing courageously. Our land acknowledgement honors the work of the Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity. Miss Anne, along with our new and continuing students, we were their guests this past orientation, and we took a trip and opened before the semester started. And they share these gestures of prayer with us in defending the humanity of immigrants and fighting the rights of the incarcerated in their pilgrimage at detention centers across California. So I invite you to follow along. Please stand if you are willing and able. You may also follow while you're seated. And this is called In Pilgrimage of Our Hands, Hearts, and Minds. The first is honoring the earth. So have your hands palms down and open, receiving the energy of the earth. You may close your eyes. We honor what was here before, the memory of this land and water and wildlife. A time before jails and prisons. It was a time when indigenous values and ways of being thrived in this place. Now lift your hands up just above the head, palms facing each other. Hearing the cries of those detained, we hold our hands up, listening to the cries of those who are in detention. Let the weight of your hands hear and feel their anguish, despair, fear, and waiting. Not knowing how long it will last, what will happen, or when. May we listen and hold space for their sake. Now place your hands together on your heart. The heartbreak of detention. We bring our hands to our hearts for all those whose hearts are broken by detention. Children, partners, parents, families, neighbors, and friends. The pain and hurt of forced separation. The pieces that fall apart. We recognize the daily impact on families and communities in the ways they keep hope, support their detained loved ones, organize, and resist. Now brush down your forearms, shedding what is not serving. Visualize what needs shedding and brush them away. What is it that no longer serves humanity in our communities? Extend our arms toward each other with palms open. This is for transformation in community. The civil rights and Black freedom movement leader, Reverend Phil Lawson, says, the opposite of slavery is not freedom, but community. Transformation needs communal movements in all of its expressions. Together we move to accomplish the mission of PSR in solidarity with marginalized communities. We do so on the sacred and unceded territory of the Chochenyo-speaking Ohlone people, the successors of the sovereign Verona Band of Alameda County. We are ever grateful for their faithful stewardship of our sacred landscape, which continues to support all we seek to transform in the name of justice and compassion.
Then I remembered the worship songs I used to sing in the night seasons, and my heart began to fill again with thoughts of you. So my spirit went out once more in search of you. The scripture reading from Psalm 77, 6-7.
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
It's good to see you. I'm Ari Lee. I used to be the music director from more than 10 years ago here, but I'm happy to return just as a guest musician for a couple of weeks. Today is your annual much beloved hymn sing, or much beloved by me anyway. PSR hymn sing, and so you have hymn books. But no, the two books that you have with you, the Chalice Hymnal and the Faith We Sing, are they're not because we have a favoritism among hymn books, but it's because those are the ones we have in most abundance. So please rifle through them, and later on you'll get a time to, maybe a few of you, 2 or 3 of you may get a time to share if there's a song that has meant a lot in your faith journey, and to share the song together. So my opening reflection actually was requested by Pastor Ann, because not because of a song we want to share and sing, but because of a song we chose not to share and sing today. And that is a song called You Are Mine, a much beloved hymn actually, by the very prolific and gifted Catholic songwriter, David Haas, who was found very recently, I think in 2022, I believe, to been, well, let's just say more than 40 women have come forward with that he has been abusing them for over a decade, well over a decade. And so it was not an easy discussion we had, but a very thoughtful one. And I wanted to share some of the things that were shared on why or why not we may sing or not sing a song in community. This is a congregational song, and it begins perhaps with the most basic question is, who owns a congregational song? Is it the author, the composer? Is it the community upon which it arose? Is it the cultural heritage, the history of a people? Is it the community that receives it and sings it and makes it their own? Who owns our songs that we sing to one another and with one another in worship in our faith traditions, right? It is a very fundamental question. And what meaning? Who gives meaning, and what meaning? Where does that meaning come from, right? And these are all things that come from all those things that I have mentioned, all those constituents. And so it is not a simple, but rather complex question that we don't have all the time to discuss today. And I want to say that in many traditions, especially in more communal and oral traditions, a song is really clearly the community that sings it. They're the ones that own it. And oftentimes in oral traditions, it gets a little bit changed or adapted to whatever fits the community better. So the rhythms get changed, a few words get changed, sometimes the whole tunes get changed, and it's perfectly okay. And they could probably care, oftentimes, it is not known who originally wrote the song, and it doesn't perhaps matter as much. So we have that on the one hand. In the more book cultures and more we have written things and things like intellectual property and things like that in more Western or perhaps in the Northern hemispheres. Authorship matters a lot. The intent and the life of the author actually matters, because we put importance and meaning to it, and therefore it becomes important to us as well in the singing community. And so for that reason, we felt like, yes, on the one hand, many of us can confess to having really had an important, the songs of David Haas has had an important place in our faith journeys, and they are powerful and beautiful songs by a very gifted composer. There's no doubt about it, and it's far-reaching. His songs are in almost every hymnal in all of the major denominational hymnals. And yet, we don't want to, we want the voice that says, it doesn't matter how influential or charismatic or gifted you are, and how powerful you may be in a movement or in a faith tradition. It does not overtake, or it does not warrant silencing the pain and the voice of the abuse. And we thought that message needed to be heard louder today, so we have decided not to sing the song. Sometimes we may share songs that we don't feel are our own songs, that don't reflect our journeys, but we sing them together when a community as diverse as this comes together, because we say, your song may not be my song, but I will sing them with you. So let us get on and sing together.
Morning. Something that even those that knew me when I was a student here may not have known, I grew up in a very different culture than the culture that we've cultivated together at PSR. I come from an evangelical, very conservative background that I had to run away from, or I got booted from, depending on which way you look at it. And my path to PSR was really a path of sort of rediscovering a faith that felt more authentic and more justice-centered. But I think for the first part of my student experience academically at PSR, I was trying to speak against everything that I had grown up in. And towards the end, I was desperately trying to speak to it. And since then, my time at having graduated and now at a disciples church, really what I've worked on doing is not necessarily redeeming that evangelical upbringing, but recognizing and reclaiming it. And that's part of why I want to share this song with you. I suspect that this is probably not your song, right? The song that we sing that's not found in a hymnal. This song was written in the 90s. And the first time I led worship at a church, this was the first song that I sang. And it talks about, even though we walk through valleys low, we won't fear evil. And this song speaks to me as we talk about singing Unafraid and living lives with fear. So I appreciate the opportunity to share this with you all. As a very simple chorus that we'll just learn together. Though I walk through valleys low, I'll fear no evil. By the water still my soul, my heart will trust in you. My heart will trust in you. I'll walk closer now on the higher way. Through the longest night, will you hold my hand? Jesus, guide my way. Oh, you mourn with me and you dance with me, for my heart of hearts is bound to you. And though I walk through valleys low, I'll fear no evil. And by the water still my soul, my heart will trust in you. Though I walk through valleys low, I'll fear no evil. And by the water still my soul, my heart will trust in you. My heart will trust in you. Oh, you counsel me and you comfort me when I cannot see. You light my path, though I walk through valleys low. I'll fear no evil, and by the water still my soul. My heart will trust in you. Though I walk through valleys low, I'll fear no evil. And by the water still my soul, my heart will trust in you. 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 Thank you, Jacob. It's beautiful. Very hard moving. Today, I'm going to read from the New International Version, Psalms 42, verse 42, chapter 42, verse 8. By day, the Lord directs his love. At night, his song is with me. A prayer to the God of my life.
You know, even though we're in the PSR chapel, it really is okay if the music moves you to get up and dance. That's why part of why we put a tambourine on the altar today. Anyway, so this next song, this was actually requested by Ms. Eric Lee, because she's been so good and gracious to us. I said that I would. This is kind of from a traditional African-American tradition. You should have the insert in front of you. The song is called "The Storm is Passing Over." So, and I think in times like these, it's really important to hold that. There's the tradition of people who endured many storms. But the most important thing to remember, even when we are frightened and afraid, is that storms don't last always. Storms pass over. This too shall pass. We don't know necessarily whatever the outcomes may be, but we can ground our faith and we can ground our action in knowing that the storm is passing over. So.
All right, now is the time to rifle through your hymnals, or if there's something like, oh, yes, then it's the time to speak up and share your songs. Oh. I will call my pigeon brothers to come over and join me. I will sing a hymnal. All hymns in the Fijian Methodist were written by Charles Wesley, interpreted in Fijian, 259. If you want, you can Google. The English version is The Gospel Bells Are Ringing. Sandiritu nanali, anuwana, satu kunana oloma, ibikenda kengema, isato puremai, nalulomani kalo, sasolia nalupenda, latu ombo, giringa, mesoro lepotu, giringa, big you sing the English one. The gospel bells are ringing over land from sea to sea. Blessed news of free salvation to behold for you and me. For God so loved the world that His only Son He gave. Whosoever believeth in Him, everlasting life shall have. Gospel bells, how they ring, over land from sea to sea. Blessed news to you and me.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Almost 12. Yeah, our message Bible this morning is taken from the book of the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 16. I will read to you verses 25 and 26. Along about midnight, Paul and Silas were at prayer and singing a robust hymn to God. The other prisoners couldn't believe their ears. Then, without warning, a huge earthquake, the jailhouse toppled. Every door flew open. All the prisoners were loose. Amen.
Amen.
I was introduced to Something Inside So Strong by Labi Siffre as an anti-apartheid protest song. But in Labi Siffre's words, who composed and released the song in 1987, I sat down at the keyboard, I played an ordinary C chord, I put my head back and I sang the first two lines straight out and cried. I realized I was writing about me as a gay man. And as the song progressed, I realized I was writing about apartheid. I was also writing about being disabled and gender-based violence in most places in the world. End quote. Recently, I visited a freedom school in Atlanta, Georgia, and learned the song is also theme song for the morning harambee, meaning let's pull together in Kiswahili. And this was the song the kids would sing in the morning to start their day. The freedom schools of the 60s were part of a long line of efforts to liberate people from oppression using the tool of popular education. And the freedom school movement remains vibrant today. So this song is part of a long legacy of people coming together to counter oppression, unafraid. I invite you to rise and sing it with me. Some of you may know it.
Yes, I'm looking for the refrain. I'm sorry.
Oh,
You want to say
Well,
the refrain?
yes. So the refrain is, there's something inside. Let me sing it so we can learn it a little bit. So just this is the chorus. There's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it. I know that I can make it. Though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Oh no. There's something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. Repeat that. Something inside so strong. I know that I can make it. I know that I can make it. Though you're doing me wrong, so you thought that my pride was gone. Was gone, oh no. There's something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. So maybe we'll go from the top, and when we get to the chorus, I want you to pull up lyrics on your phones too, if you have your phone with you. It's just called Something Inside So Strong. The higher you build your barriers, the taller I become. The further you take my rights away, the faster I will run. You can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away. No matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it. Though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Oh no. There's something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. This verse says, the more you refuse to hear my voice, the louder I will sing. You hide behind the walls of Jericho. Your lies will come tumbling. Deny my place in time. You squander wealth that's mine. My light will shine so brightly it will blind you, because there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it. I know that I can. Though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. Doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Oh no. There's something inside so strong. Oh, inside so strong.
So our sending song is both in Spanish and English. Barbara's going to come and talk about that. We have a benediction. I want to say thank you again so much to my dear sister, Ms. Lee, whom I love.
So we were asked to suggest some songs. This one was one I suggested, and I actually had not sung it before, but it spoke to me because about 25 years ago, I was part of a group of about 7 or 8 of us from University of Santa Clara faculty staff that went down to El Salvador. So shortly after the revolution was over, on an immersion social justice program, which for me was life-changing. And the thing that struck me the most was in the communities that we went to, the Christ-centered communities, and the thing that was the center of all of their actions was songs and singing constantly, and songs of hope, because you can't sing without hope in your hearts. It's really lovely. We have a reading for the benediction. This day we say grateful.
O hear us as this day we say grace. This day we say grateful. This day we say blessing. This day we release you in God's keeping and hold you in gladness and love.
So let's go back to the beginning. Yeah, okay. It is a strange thing to be so bound and so released, and all in the same moment. To feel the heart open wide and wider still, even as it turns to take its leave.
On this day, let us say this is simply the way love moves in its ceaseless spiraling, turning us toward one another then sending us into what waits for us with arms open wide to us in welcome and in hope.
On this day, in this place, where you have poured yourself out, where you have been emptied and filled and emptied again, may you be aware more than ever of what your heart has opened to you here, what it has tended and welcomed here.
Where it has broken in love and in grief, where it has given and received blessing in the unfathomable mystery that moves us, undoes us, and makes us finally for joy.
This day, may you know this joy in full measure. This day, may you know this blessing that gathers you in and sends you forth, but will not forget you.
O hear us as this day we say grace. This day we say grateful. This day we say blessing. This day we release you in God's keeping and hold you in gladness and love.
Amen.
Amen.